What about all the walkouts and all the protests? And you've definitely caught some, you know, slack for calling some people.
Number one, I haven't got any slack. I don't do social media.
I know you don't.
And I don't sit around and watch what everybody think about me. I have
the scumbag comment. Respond to that.
When you're looting people's property, that's what you are. That's against the law. It's not your property. You wouldn't want people to do it to your house. You know, if you go back to the stepdad, he didn't want people to burn down his house. So it's all just a bunch of noise at this point. But anybody who walks out peacefully, who protests peacefully, that's what this country was built on. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But to be burning people's property, burning police cars, looting people's stores, that's 100% ridiculous.
Do you think that we would be seeing all of that had this been a black police officer? Had Darren Wilson been black and all the facts remaining the same, we would still have a slain 18-year-old. Would the outrage be there?
No, because we have a racial issue in this country. We've always had a racial issue in this country. And the biggest problem with it is we never discuss race until something bad happens. We never have meaningful dialogue over a cold beer when things are going good. But what happens is everybody, when something bad happens, everybody has a tribe mentality. Everybody want to protect their own tribe, whether they're right or wrong.
What do you mean when they're right or wrong?
We all got bad characters in our group. We all got bad characters. So my grandmother taught me, you judge everybody on their own individual merits. You don't care what any other jackass has to say. You don't put everybody together. Black is not always right and white is not always wrong. You got some bad apples who taking advantage of the situation. That's the plan. You got, and that's unfortunate because this is a serious, somebody lost a child. And this is something we need to sit back and discuss and figure out what happened, what went wrong. But let me say this. The notion that white cops are out there just killing black people, that's ridiculous. It's just flat out ridiculous. And I challenge any black person to try to make that point. This notion that cops are actually awesome. You know, they're the only thing in the ghetto from between this place being the Wild Wild West. So this notion that cops are out there just killing black men is ridiculous. And I hate that narrative coming out of this entire situation. And the thing that bothers me the most, Brooke, is the notion that all these people are standing here saying, if they indict him, they were already going to riot.
No matter if there was an indictment or not?
No question. Because your mind does not go from, let me sit here and listen, and let me go and just start burning up police cars and tearing down buildings. That just doesn't happen.
Let me go back to the notion of white cops killing black people. What about the case we're waiting for the results to come down from the grand jury for Eric Garner here in New York, right? I mean, it's one thing in Ferguson, there's some audio, but you see the video, you see these cops surround him, and he ultimately, it was a homicide. He dies.
I don't think that was a homicide. I don't think that was a homicide. I think
what was that? It was a chokehold. You see it.
Well, I think the cops were trying to arrest him, and they got a little aggressive. I think excessive force, you know, something like that. But to go right to murder, when the cops are trying to arrest you, if you fight back, things go wrong. That doesn't mean, I don't think they were trying to kill Mr. Garner. You know, he was a big man, and they tried to get him down.
You know, I'm hearing so much from different people, friends, people who come on my show, African Americans saying, listen, Brooke, you know, I was taught it as a young age. I have different rules than you do when I deal with police. And there's a lot of getting that off people's chests right now because of what happened in Ferguson. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of frustration. What can we as a country do with this energy right now?
Well, first of all, we can open a dialogue, and I think that's probably what I did was open a dialogue. Brooke, in fairness, there's some black people out there who are crooks. And when the police come to your neighborhood, it's a tense situation. The only time you interact with the cops is when things are going wrong. That's the only time we ever interact with the cops. But first of all, we as black people, we got a lot of crooks. We can't just wait until something like this happened, and we have to look ourselves in the mirror. There's a reason they racially profile us at times. Sometimes it's wrong, but sometimes it's right. So to act and sit there and act like we hold no responsibility for some of this stuff, it's disingenuous.
How can the president help this? First African-American president, we held meetings at the White House this week. Should he be going to Ferguson?
No. And that's another thing that annoys me about this whole situation, Brooke. Every time something happens in the black community, we have the same cast of sad characters. We don't have to have Al Sharpton go there. We don't have to have, and I'm not disparaging Mr. Crump. I know he represented, when it happened in Florida with Trayvon's family, God bless them. But we have the same sad sack of black characters. We need some strong black men in St. Louis to stand up and say, hey, let's handle this situation.